Most expensive celebrity divorces of all time. When it comes to divorce, we all know they can be very difficult and complex. But when it comes to these celebrities, they'll not only tell you they're emotionally draining, but they're extremely financially draining. Some walked away having to pay several $billion. In this video, we'll take a look at the most expensive divorce settlements and see who probably wish they signed a prenup. Which celebrities do you think had to pay the most? And how much do you think they had to pay? Stay tuned to find out. Let's get started. Johnny Depp and Amber Heard, $7 million. After meeting on the set of Rum Diary in 2011, the couple tied the knot in a private ceremony 4 years later, only to announce their split after 15 months of marriage. They cited irreconcilable differences. Go figure. According to E! News, Heard asked for $50,000 per month in spousal support from Depp based on her marital lifestyle. However, her attorney later retracted that request. They reached a $7 million settlement in their divorce, which was finalized in 2017. Heard announced she'd donate her entire $7 million payout to charity, splitting it between the American Civil Liberties Union and Children's Hospital in Los Angeles. But it has been reported she hasn't yet fulfilled that pledge. And if you think $7 million is a lot, compared to the other people on our list, you ain't seen nothing yet. We just figured you might be interested in the two of them. Jeff Bezos and Mackenzie Scott, $38 billion. It's no surprise that one of the richest people in history also has one of the most expensive divorces in history. The two were married in 1993, just after 3 months of dating. The following year, he founded Amazon, and they eventually had 4 children. But after 25 years of marriage, the Amazon CEO and his wife Mackenzie Scott announced their divorce in 2019. Because they lived in Washington before their divorce, they each are entitled to a 50-50 split of marital assets. Washington is one of the 9 states where this law is applied. CNN reported that as part of the settlement, Mackenzie received a quarter of his Amazon holdings, which was 19.7 million shares, or about 4% ownership position in the business, which was valued at $38 billion. Scott has promised to give away the majority of her wealth. According to Forbes, since their divorce, she's given away $12.5 billion to over 1,250 organizations. And yet, it still hasn't depleted her fortune. She's still ranked the 4th richest woman in the world and 30th richest person, worth $43.6 billion. Jeff Bezos wasn't hurt much. His net worth in 2022 is estimated to be $148.1 billion. Mel Gibson and Robin Moore, $425 million. Mel Gibson and Robin Moore were married for 31 years and share 7 kids. The couple separated in 2006 but didn't officially divorce until 2011. In an interview with Deadline in 2011, Gibson said his wife asked to separate the day after he was arrested for driving under the influence in Malibu and firing a series of anti-Semitic insults towards the police officer in July 2006. As people reported, Gibson and Moore did not have a prenuptial agreement, which meant she was entitled to walk away with half of the earnings he made in the nearly 30 years they were married. At that time, Mel Gibson's net worth was about $850 million, which meant Robin Moore ended up with $425 million. That's over $13.7 million for each year they were together. Michael Jordan and Juanita Binoy, $168 million. The two were married in 1989 after 4 years of dating. At some point, she hired private investigator Ernie Rizzo, who, according to the Chicago Tribune, observed Jordan in compromising situations with half a dozen women between 1992 and 2002. Even though Jordan and Binoy never publicly commented on the claims, she filed for divorce in 2002. The couple decided to try and work things out, but 4 years later, they announced they were splitting for good after 17 years of marriage. She received $168 million worth in the divorce settlement, and Jordan reportedly paid $2.1 million in legal fees. Even though that's a lot of money, it didn't faze him as he's currently worth $1.7 billion. Neil Diamond and Marsha Murphy, $150 million. These two divorced in March 1995 after 25 years of marriage. Forbes reported Diamond's $300 million estate was divided up, with Murphy receiving half. In 1996, Diamond said he blamed himself for much of the relationship going south. "I assume a lot of responsibility for what went wrong, but I was taken aback by how many friends dropped me," he told People. Garth Brooks and Sandy Mall, $125 million. These two were college sweethearts when they got married in 1986. Throughout their 14-year marriage, Brooks became one of the most successful recording and touring musicians in music history. However, it became difficult to deal with Brooks's demanding tour schedule and alleged infidelity. This ultimately led them to break up in 1999, and their divorce was finalized by 2001. Sandy received $125 million as part of their divorce settlement, despite the fact that the divorce was reportedly amicable. Don't worry, he's still worth $400 million. Tiger Woods and Ellen Nordegren, $100 million. Everything went downhill after Woods crashed the couple's Escalade into a tree outside their Florida home. After 6 years together, Tiger Woods and Ellen Nordegren finalized their divorce in 2010 after news of his numerous extramarital affairs went public the year prior. According to Forbes, Nordegren and her lawyers were initially aiming for $750 million in the settlement, but eventually landed on $100 million. That's over $16.5 million per year they were married. Dr. Dre and Nicole Young, $100 million. After 18 months of legal back and forth, rapper and producer Dr. Dre finalized his divorce from Nicole Young with a $100 million settlement in 2021. Dr. Dre, whose real name is Andre Romel Young, was married to Nicole for nearly 24 years, and they have 2 children that are now in their 20s. Under the terms of the settlement, Nicole received $50 million immediately and the other $50 million 1 year later, adding that she is not eligible for spousal support. Nicole left the marriage with all the jewelry as well as 4 vehicles: a Rolls-Royce, Range Rover, Escalade limousine, and Spider motorcycle. Steven Spielberg and Amy Irving, $100 million. They had an on and off relationship in 1984 before getting married in 1985. They were married for only 4 years and share 1 child. Apparently, the couple had a prenuptial agreement, but the judge refused to acknowledge the couple's prenup since it was written on a cocktail napkin. Instead, the judge awarded Irving half of Spielberg's fortune, which equaled $100 million. Don't feel too bad, he currently has a net worth of $3.7 billion. Harrison Ford and Melissa Matheson, $85 to $118 million. These 2 met on the set of Apocalypse Now. He was instrumental in getting her to write the screenplay for Steven Spielberg's 1982 hit E.T. the Extraterrestrial. They were married in 1983, had 2 children, and then she filed for divorce 18 years later in 2001, after he was spotted with another woman. It took 3 years to finalize, but according to the Daily Mail, Melissa allegedly received between $85 million and $118 million from the divorce. Don't worry, he still has a net worth of over $300 million. Kevin Costner and Cindy Silva, $80 million. The couple married in 1978 before Costner even began his acting career. And throughout their 16-year marriage, Costner rose to fame as one of Hollywood's highest-paid actors, winning 7 Oscars for Dances with Wolves and appearing in classic movies like Bull Durham and Field of Dreams. She was there for him through most of his successful years and was thus entitled to a significant chunk of his income when they chose to call it quits and divorce in 1994. According to a 2008 Forbes report, their divorce settlement totaled a whopping $80 million. He's still worth $250 million. Kenny Rogers and Marianne Gordon, $60 million. The country singer isn't a stranger to divorce. In fact, he's gone through the entire process 5 times. However, the most expensive separation was with his 4th wife, Marianne Gordon. You'd think he would have learned something from the first 3. Rogers' 4th marriage to Marianne in 1977 was one of his most publicized and reviewed. Their divorce resulted in plenty of media attention, partially because they both worked in the entertainment industry. Rogers was, of course, a musical legend, while Marianne was an actress. Together they share 1 child, and their marriage lasted for quite some time before their divorce was ultimately finalized in 1993. According to the Irish Independent, Rogers gave $60 million to his 4th wife, Marianne, following their split. Rogers reported she had always stood behind him during tough times, especially when he had little to no money. In the end, he had no ill will and still had kind words to say about the woman who managed to get $60 million from him. Madonna and Guy Ritchie, $76 million to $92 million. Their multi-million-dollar settlement came in 2008 when the singer and film director decided to divorce after being married for just under 8 years. Ritchie claims being with her was like being in a soap opera, while Madonna said the split was due to loss of heat in their relationship. The Associated Press reported that Madonna settled her divorce with Ritchie for $76 million. Her publicist, Liz Rosenberg, stated that the settlement would be in the range of $76 million to $92 million, a figure that included a country home in England and a pub the couple owned in London. In 2022, she's currently still worth $850 million. Paul McCartney and Heather Mills, $48.6 million. Paul McCartney met Mills in 1999, the year after his ex-wife Linda died of breast cancer. Mills and McCartney married at an Irish castle in 2002 and welcomed their daughter the following year. By 2006, the couple called it quits. Following a slew of legal battles, they reached their official divorce settlement 2 years later. Mills reportedly received nearly $48.6 million, and, in addition, the court also ruled that the couple's daughter Beatrice should receive the sum of $70,000 per year. On top of that, McCartney also had to pay for the child's nanny and school fees. What are your thoughts about the amount of these divorce settlements, and which couples would you want to hear more about? Let us know by leaving a comment below.